We've got our very first two-fer for this GumBomb recap. To be honest, I could only find so much I can say about these two episodes. Part of it is because compared to the critically acclaimed trifecta of the copycats, the matchmaker, and the console, these ones are relatively low-key. The trifecta got the viewers totally abuzz, while these two didn't. Plus the episodes themselves were pretty much the norm for Gumball. Doesn't mean that they're bad though, it just means that I have to make do with what little I can talk about. Oh well, at least I get to kill two birds with one stone. And since it is my self-appointed duty to provide Gumball with its deserved representation, my problems begin and end there. Now then, why don't I stop gabbing about trivial shit and get into the actual review? The first episode we're looking at is the Vase. Granny JoJo has left the Watterson family a heartfelt and sincere present, a decorative ceramic vase. Yeah, that thing is about as heartfelt and sincere as swallowing her own teeth.
What the hell am I looking at?
Since no one in the family can hide their shared sentiment about how sinfully disgusting that vase is, they try to get rid of the blasted thing by any means necessary. From one failed attempt to another, shit, is that thing made out of Kevlar? No one in the family can seem to break it. Then we find out the sentimental value that the vase possesses. It has the remains of Louie's pet python. Hey, a plot twist that actually isn't half bad!
What a twist!
After a badass action sequence with none other than good old Nicole, the vase returns to JoJo's hands, in exchange for a different vase. Pretty good episode if I do say so myself. The beauty of it comes mainly from taking something so mundane and blowing it utterly out of proportion. Viewers tune into a show like Gumball for excitement and escapism, and on paper, dealing with an unwanted keepsake isn't really what people come to the show for. This episode rings out a lot of hilarious moments for such a theoretically dull idea to keep you entertained through and through. Think of it like this. The 2005 Fantastic Four movie was an unapologetic shitfest because it was thoroughly boring with a misleading promotional campaign that made false promises of having superhero action. It did have superhero action, for about 5% of it, and the first of these sequences happens for all the wrong reasons. The vase is nothing like that. It isn't the first time that Gumball has done this, and it certainly won't be the last. The other cool part about this episode is that every Watterson family member gets to shine, partaking in their own hijinks, each with their own less than desirable results. Makes sense, since they're all inheriting the vase from Granny JoJo, and these scenes dedicated to each family member implement their respective traits pretty well. And true to the show's self-awareness, the lamp shading makes the scenes all the funnier.
Mailman, special delivery.
We're not here. Could you just, post it through the door?
Makes sense to me.
That's not the vase. Yeah, that's the tablet Gumball asked Mom for his birthday.
Wow. Now we know why courier companies do a terrible job with fragile packages. When the next postman who shows up at my door gives me something broken, I might just have to kick their ass.
But whatever you do, don't drop it.
Sure.
Why couldn't you have managed that when I was a baby?
Does that explain why Gumball was an ugly baby?
What an asshole!
Richard, you careless bastard! If I ever have my own kids, you are staying the hell away from them.
What I'm about to do might look cool and impressive, but don't ever do it yourselves, okay?
A bit too late to warn them, wouldn't you say? Come on, Nicole. You should know by now that your son takes after you more than you think. At least according to my headcanon, as told in my latest fanfiction, The Carbon Copy, which you can read or listen to the audio reading of. Just throwing that out there. That takes care of my shameless plug for today. As good as the episode is it one that I'll be going back to frequently? Can it be called a classic and memorable episode in the future? The answer to both those questions? No. Several of Gumball's past episodes that saw mundane concepts being taken to ludicrous heights are superior to this one due to their more profound humor and the greater impact that they've had. When the show ends and you were to look back at all of its episodes, what would you remember more? This episode or The Job? Simple as that. Thus, I give The Vase a 3.5 out of 5. It's a solid episode that got me to laugh, and it used the Wattersons well, both individually and collectively as a family, but it didn't blow me away or anything. Its standard Gumball fare is what it is, tame for most of it, nothing more, nothing less. The next episode in our agenda, The Box, is the same thing, though I say it's the lesser of the two. The Wattersons receive an unexpected package in the mail. Shit, it better not be broken. Aching with curiosity, they ponder on what the contents of the box could be. Their pondering breaks out into a fight over who among them gets the box, and it is accidentally thrown out the window before being singed by lightning. The following day, Mr. Robinson arrives at the doorstep and explains that the package was for him and what it was.
Okay, you know that rough skin you have on your elbow? Well, imagine that, but a bit scalier, and spreading over your entire place that should be soft. Now, imagine if that skin also got marinated in vinegar and microwaved, and hair somehow got trapped under a layer of that skin, and the hair kept growing under this kind of blister that's sort of—
TMI, Mr. Robinson. Too much information. I'd say that this episode was... okay? Yeah, it was an okay episode. What it pretty much is a window into the psyche of our beloved mixed breed family. It's sorta like the bare facts from the Powerpuff Girls.
Powerpuff Girls fighting crime to save the world before bedtime.
The original Powerpuff Girls, not the ass droppings of a reboot. Jeez, I can't wait until that show is over. This episode is similar to the bare facts in that the different imagination spots are indicative of the characters' personalities. GumBomb fantasizing about a portal gun reflects his thirst for adventure that used to be verbose in the first season, but has since become more subdued. Nicole's theory about a large sum of money hints at a hidden desire for wealth, which given the family's circumstances makes perfect sense. Anais ponders about a zombie apocalypse born from a biohazard substance, as she would given her intelligence. Richard fantasizes about being a genetically enhanced secret spy who kicks all levels of ass like a middle-aged father would. Which is, you know, what he is. And Darwin's almost breaking into song is a window into his idealism and innocence, which like Gumball's adventurous side, is not as overplayed as it was in season 1. The one thing that this episode doesn't have that the bare facts does is character-specific art shifts. It does briefly change into a picture book-esque art style during Anais's fantasy, but that's about it. Now, the things that I didn't like about the episode seem to be the sort that you can just abolish altogether rather than try to fix. I don't mean to pull a Mr. Enner on you, but I did not like the gross out in this episode. Not one bit. It comes completely out of the blue and exists for no other reason but to trigger your gag reflexes. If the gross out were integral to the story, like it is in the menu, or if it were implied in order to draw a powerful reaction from the audience a la the Loud House, I would not have a problem with it. The gross out in the box was neither of these. Gumball's freakish mutation is blatant. Mr. Robinson's description of his rash is blatant. There is no subtlety here. There is no subtext, nothing that encourages audience immersion, no actual end purpose, nothing. This episode just throws the repulsive shit at your face, as if literal shit is being thrown in your face. It's disgusting for all the wrong reasons. The second thing I didn't like is that some of the gags last way too long for my liking. The gag at the near end of the episode where the box is almost run over, not once, not twice, but 4 times is repetitive nonsense. The scene itself doesn't last for more than 20 seconds, but by repeating the same joke ad nauseum, with no variation in between, it makes it seem like it lasts an eternity. And the last flaw I want to explain is a more personal gripe than it is an objective flaw, but still worth mentioning. Had the episode ended the moment the box was struck by lightning, I reckon it would have been better. The episode would have become one hell of a Shaggy Dog story, and that I believe would be a much better outcome than Mr. Robinson describing the rash on his butt. The entire plot might be invalidated because of such an ending, but that's the whole idea behind it. To end a ludicrous plot on a ludicrous note and have viewers ask questions like what the point of the affair was to begin with. Matter of fact, let me try just that right now. That's a lot better, isn't it? Weighing the strengths and flaws against each other, I'm gonna give the box a 3 out of 5. And that's gonna do it for week 2 of GumBomb February 2017. Finally! Thought I'd never move on. I'm gonna kick off week 3 in grand fashion through another collab, this time with a different special guest. And it's gonna be a fascinating one. I'll preface it by saying that the special guest in question has very strong opinions about the next episode, which differ from mine. Before then, stay tuned for the next set of videos, which will be my review of the latest Mickey 13 short, Swimmin' Hole, my review of Cars 3, and my first video game review. It'll be a different type of video game review because, you know me, I like to go against the tide and deviate from the norm. How so, you may ask? I can't tell you that. You'll just have to wait like a good little boy or a good little girl. You're free to guess what the game is though, but even if you're right, I'm not gonna tell you. You'll find out when the damn thing's uploaded.